your palms up because you're feeling a lack of energy. Your eyes should be soft or even closed, and just begin to breathe. No special breathing at the moment, just breathe. Inhales and exhales. Allowing yourself to settle into this practice and to kind of take some of the distractions. Sometimes practicing at home, you see the things around you, so trying to allow them to just disappear into the periphery. Taking some deep inhales and some deep exhales. And then when you're ready, moving into your Ujjayi breath. So maybe you're taking some audible exhales now. And in a breath or two, you'll find your way into your Ujjayi breath. And as you do that, start to focus on your ribs, feeling the expansion of your ribs, both side to side and front to back. Sitting up tall and just breathing. Feeling where you are. Maybe you may need to make an adjustment to take some tension out of the neck area or back. Don't chastise yourself for a little movement. It's for your benefit. We'll take a deep breath here, holding a bit at the top. Open our mouths and exhale. Well, let's just work with the neck and shoulders for a moment. Dropping your right ear to your right shoulder and just feeling where you're at there. Maybe you instinctively start to drop the left shoulder down a bit. Just taking a few breaths here. And let's drop the chin towards the chest. We're going to roll over to the left ear and try to find that length along the right side neck. Deep inhales and deep exhales. And then slowly chin to chest. Pull the navel into spine and just allow the back of the neck to become long. Bringing your head up. Let's take the right hand, pat yourself on the back, take the left hand to the right elbow, and we'll just get a nice stretch in the tricep. Now, try to make sure that the shoulder blades stay back and down so that you're not hugging those ears and shoulders together. Breathing here. And slowly release, making fists. Let's just roll our wrists down. Stretching them out a little bit. We'll take the left arm, pat ourselves on the back. Take our right hand to the elbow, pulling back and just taking some deep breaths here. Inhale and exhale. And then we'll release here in the next breath. And taking those wrist motions again, coming down just to lubricate our wrists. And let's work a little side to side. So we're not going to stay in the first few iterations of this next pose, but after about 3 side to side, then we'll stay on each side. So we're going to crawl the right fingers out and we're going to sweep the left arm up. And then we're going to just take this side to side. So on the exhale, we come over. On the inhale, we come back. Exhale over. Inhale back. One more each side. Exhale. And inhale. This time we're going to stay over towards the right side. We're pushing down into the left hip, opening our shoulder, and just feeling that nice opening. Maybe you're looking up or maybe you're looking down. 4, 3, and 2. On 1, we're going to switch over and hold on the left side, pushing into the mat and breathing. 4, 3, and 2, and 1. Inhaling. We'll exhale our hands down onto the mat and just start to crawl them out in front of us. Push the mat away so that you get that nice stretch in the lower back. So you're pushing your tailbone down towards the mat. Your hands are opposing, going forward. And you're just leaning forward, getting that full stretch. Four, 3, and 2, and 1. Crawling back in. We're going to transition to an all fours position and we're going to work with our wrists. We're putting a lot of pressure on our wrists these days. So we're going to turn them out and work with that a little bit just to relieve some wrist pain. So we're going to find our knees under our hips, our wrists right under our shoulders. And the first one, I'll take my right hand. I'm going to turn my right fingers either all the way back towards my knee or out to the side. If you're out to the side, maybe you're rocking a little side to side. Just moving that wrist a little bit. Stretching through the forearm. A lot of us spend a lot of time on devices these days. Trying to keep your wrists pretty much in alignment. We're pushing down into the tops of our feet. In fact, I'll give you kind of a side profile. So you've got the tops of your feet onto the mat and those shins are pushing down. Breathing here for 4, 3, 2. On 1, we'll bring the wrist back, maybe a little side to side rocking before we move to the other side. I'll actually change profile for you. So I'm taking my left hand back towards my left knee, or I'm taking it off to the side. Breathing here. Deep inhales and deep exhales. Pull that belly in. Root down into the tops of our feet so that we're grounded in our pose. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, hand comes back. And let's just take a couple of rounds of cat-cow here. And in your cat-cow, make sure that when you start to roll into the upper portion of the chest, that you're really using the tailbone, driving it to the sky, and the chest comes through the arms. And then we use that action of the tailbone to pull in. So the driver is the tailbone in these poses. Deep inhale, deep exhale. For 3, 4, 2, and 1. Let's come to our all fours position. We're going to inhale our right leg out to the right side. So I'm actually stepping my right foot out to the right side and my toes are pointing forwards. And then just walk your hands out just a little bit to feel a stretch in that inner groin area. Pull the navel into spine. Walking your hands back. We'll just take awkward airplane with the leg, not with the arms. We're going to lift that leg up for 3, 4, 2. On 1, bend the knee, set the knee down, shake it out. Almost head to the other side. So we'll extend the left leg out. Then we'll just walk out a little bit until we start to feel a stretch in the hamstring and the inner groin. And breathe. Allow your head to soften. Your shoulders are helping you. You're pushing down into the top of the back right shin and foot. We'll walk our hands back under our shoulders, feel stable, and lift the leg for 3, 4, 2. On 1, let's bend the knee and bring the knee down, taking a few rounds of cat-cow, remembering the chest comes up and through, and then we round through the tailbone, coming back. Just a few rounds. Breathing here for 3, 4, 2. And 1, coming to our neutral position. Let's extend the right leg behind us. Right hip rotates down, pulling navel into spine. If you'd like, you can extend that arm out as though you were reaching to shake hands with someone. Breathing here for 4, 3, 2. On 1, bend the leg. Maybe you reach back, or maybe your hand is just reaching back. If you can reach back for the foot, maybe you are clasping it. Now you're bringing the chest forward and through, and you are flexing that ankle so that you could stand on the ceiling, getting beautiful quadricep stretch. For 4, 3, 2. No slingshot. Release gently, setting down, shaking out. Maybe you need a couple of cat-cow as I move to the other side. Pulling that navel and spine, setting myself up. I will extend my left leg out, rotate my hip down, and then reach out with the arm. Always feel stable and getting that shoulder right over your wrist for 4, 3, 2. On 1, I'm going to bend my foot, reach around behind. Maybe you connect, maybe you don't. And then push down into the top of your right foot, right shin, pulling your chest through for 4, 3, 2. On 1, I gently release, extend, hand down, coming into a wide-legged child's pose, sitting back, forehead towards the mat or even onto a pillow. Take a few breaths here before we work into that nice shoulder stretch that we like to do. Big breaths. And then when you're ready, placing your left hand under your left shoulder, we'll sweep the right arm up and rotate the wrist in one direction and rotate the wrist in the other direction. And then we'll sweep that arm under the body to come to lay on the body. Maybe you leave that left hand right under the shoulder, or you crawl it out in front, or even towards the right side of your mat. Come to rest. You could even rest your head on a pillow if that felt good. Take well-deserved, purposeful deep breaths here. Beautiful shoulder opening. We warmed the shoulder in the last pose. Now we're going to let it stretch. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Placing the left hand under the shoulder. We'll extract the right arm up. Maybe this time you're doing some finger flicks, just trying to open up those fingers and get some blood and energy there. And then we'll gently set that hand down. We'll sweep the left arm up, rotate the wrist in the other direction. This is Hannah, by the way. I apologize for the view you're getting. And then we're going to sweep the left arm underneath, coming to rest on our left shoulder. And maybe we're crawling our right fingertips out in front or over to the side, as Hannah was demonstrating which direction we were going. Deep inhales and deep exhales. Breathing here. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's bring our right hand under our right shoulder so we can extract that left arm up, and maybe this time we're doing some finger flicks. And then we'll bring the hand down and we'll start to move towards all fours, coming into a downward facing dog. So take your time moving into your downward facing dog. We'll tuck our toes under and we'll begin to pedal our feet or move around comfortably. And I do apologize for the picture right at the moment. Okay, so we're in our down dog. Maybe we are lifting our right leg, bending the knee, and starting to take some big hip circles in one direction. And then after 3 or 4 breaths, moving into another direction. Maybe even getting your ankle involved. And then we'll extend that leg and set it down, and we'll lift our left leg, bending the knee and beginning to rotate the hip. Remember to get both sides. And maybe you just prefer to stay in an open hip position. That's fine. Push down, square your shoulders to the mat. And then let's extend that leg, come back to our down dog. And we're going to pick up our hands and start walking them towards the back of our mat. Coming into a forward fold, bend your knees as much as you need to. The idea is to lay your chest comfortably onto your upper thighs and allow your head to cascade down. Maybe arms are wrapped behind the legs or you're cupping opposite elbows in front. Allow yourself to hang and breathe. Deep inhales and deep exhales. For 4, 3, 2. On 1, let's slowly begin to roll up. Allow your arms to be long and heavy. Rolling up very slowly, 1 vertebrae at a time. Your hips tuck, your belly tucks. Your shoulders come up, back, and down. Again, shoulders up, back, and down. Let's sweep our left arm up and allow our right arm down towards our leg, opening the shoulder. And then turn the palm so it starts to face the sky, opening up this part of the arm. Breathing here. You've got to root down into the left foot strongly. For 3, 4, 2. On 1, we're going to come back up and just move to our left arm down, our right arm up, and then we'll turn that right palm up and allow ourselves to get a beautiful stretch. Breathing here. 4, 3, 4, 2, and 1. Coming back down, shoulders up, back and down. Step your feet as wide as your mat, and then turn your toes out slightly. We're going to come into horse stance. We're going to take a few breaths here in horse stance. You really have to hold from your lower belly. You're tucking your tail. Hands down in front. Inhale all the way up. And then palms come down. Exhale. You're going to take 5 of these breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. The next time we inhale, we'll straighten the legs. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. And we'll turn our toes back towards the front and just heel toe your way back to a mountain stance, which is about hip distance apart for some or feet together for others. Taking an inhale here, we're going to take a half sun salutation. Inhale all the way up. And then as we exhale, we hinge from the hips and bend our knees to protect our lower back and our hamstrings. Inhale, half lift. Hands can come to the shins. Just don't push too hard. And then exhale, fold. Big breath takes us all the way up. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. And let's do that again. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, all the way down. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, fold. This time we're going to step our right leg all the way back, coming into a nice runner's lunge. Hands are light on the mat. Use the pressure of your feet and your legs to keep you in the pose. Pull the lower belly in, little bit of up dog in the chest. Breathing here for 3, 4, 2. On 1, let's plant our hands and we're going to step back to our plank pose. Take a big inhale here. On an exhale, we'll drop our knees, lower down our chest and our chin, untuck our toes, coming into a cobra pose. And we'll exhale down, taking 2 more cobras. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more. Inhale. And exhale. We'll tuck our toes. We'll move back through an extended child's pose to find ourselves in downward facing dog. Hips to heels and downward facing dog. Settling in. Take a big inhale here. Exhale. We'll step our right foot up, coming back into that runner's lunge. Feel the strength in your legs. We're going to step all the way to the front of the mat. Maybe you need to take a few small steps to get there. That's okay. When we come to the front of the mat, we will inhale and half lift. Exhale and fold. Root to rise, inhale all the way back up. Exhale, hands to heart center, and take a couple of breaths. And we'll work from the other side in a moment here. So we inhale all the way up. We exhale all the way back down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands and step back into high runner's lunge. Making sure that you have yourself very much grounded here. You're not resting on that leg, but you're really using the legs. Plant the hands and we step back into our high plank pose. If you would like to do a full chaturanga instead of knees, chest, chin, you feel free to do so. If you don't want to take the pose, You can lower all the way to the mat and meet me there for our 3 cobras. Dropping knees, chest, chin, inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Last one, inhale up and exhale down. Tucking my toes, reaching back to an extended child's pose on my way to down dog. And downward facing dog. Taking a big breath here. Maybe you open your mouth and exhale. Ha. Let's take the left leg. We're going to set it behind the left wrist. Coming into that runner's lunge and setting up. I want to be so stable that even if I didn't have my hands, I would be able to step forward. Breathing here for 3, 4, 2. On 1, we step gently to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift, and exhale, fold. Sweeping our arms all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. And let's just take a breath here. Reset, group again, shake out whatever needs to be shaken out. Deep inhales and deep exhales. Let's step our feet as wide as the mat again, turning our toes out. We're going to come all the way down to the mat, deep bent knees, and we're just going to take some side to side from here. So inhale all the way up. I'm going to bend my knees and exhale so that I can bring my hands onto the mat. And then I'm just going to rock from side to side. I want my toes and my knees facing the same direction. Inhaling and exhaling. Warming up our hips so we can take a nice Kormasana pose. Breathing here for 3, 4, 2, and 1. Coming to center, I'm going to turn my toes forward, put a bend in my knees, and sweep my arms all the way back up. Exhale, hands to heart center. We're going to take a balancing pose. I'm giving you plenty of warning to find your favorite wall. I will be using mine because I'm on a sculpted carpet, so nothing is quite even. You may step onto just your wood floors if you have them, or marble, or whatever you're stepping onto, but make sure you're stable. We're going to root down into our left foot and come to the ball of the right foot. Navel comes to spine and my tail tucks under. I just have my hand gently resting on the wall. I'm going to bring my knee up, flex the toes, and then I'm going to start to adjust my shoulders. I want them to be perfectly level. It didn't work very well. And then as I breathe here, I'll start to extend the leg out. I don't want to lean back. I want to still stay high in the pose. Hand could be at hips, come all the way up, which for me is not working. Breathing here for 3, 4, 2. On 1, I'm going to bend the knee, open it out to the side. Now, if you'd like to work on your balance a little bit, you could look the other direction. So I have my knee out to the right. I could turn my chin over my left shoulder. Or not. Or not is always, always a good option. Breathing here for 3, 4, 2. On 1, let's bring that knee back, extend the leg, shake it out, and forget about the pose. And granted, you're not on a hardwood floor. Maybe for me on this carpet, it's sculpted, so I don't have much purchase, so I just use the wall to give me a little extra balance. Turning to the other side, I'm going to root down into the right leg, come to the ball of the left foot. Again, I'm really tucking and pulling so that I'm strong through my core. Lifting the knee, setting and making sure my hips are level, and then extending the leg out in front of me. I'm going to keep my hand at my hip. It gives me a little more balance. For 3, 4, 2. On one, bringing the knee in, opening out to the side. And now I adjust. Am I putting too much weight into one side? Opening, and then maybe you're looking over the shoulder or not. Breathing here for 4, 3, 2. On one, leg back, extend and shake. And we'll find our way down, so I'm going to warn you now. We're going to be down on our knees for a little bit. We're going to take some deep stretches into our quadriceps and our hips. So if you would like to have some padding, please grab maybe a blanket or a towel, or you could even have a small cushion or double your mat up. If you would like to take the half salutation to find your way to the mat, that's fine. And once we get there, if you'd like a vinyasa, and you know what that is, that's fine. If you'd prefer to just come to all fours once you reach down dog, that's fine too. So we're going to inhale all the way up, and then exhale all the way down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, stepping into down dog so that you can find yourself into an all fours position. And I'll start this direction so I can kind of talk about the front body, and then I'll work into another direction to show you some things on the side body. We'll extend our right leg behind us, lifting up from the entire hamstring and the whole belly. Your lower belly is involved. I'll step the right foot forward, and I'm going to make sure that my ankle is right below my knee, and I'll come up just to rest my hands onto that knee and allow this hip to start to sink down. So you want to keep yourself level. Pull the navel into spine again. Navel into spine, dropping the tail. If you want to move the back leg back to get a little more into the quadricep of that leg, that's fine. And then I'll turn around front and kind of give you a front view of where I am in this pose. I'm sinking down so that I can get that stretch along here into the side hip, getting it on both hips. Hands can remain down, or you can bring them up onto the knee. We'll be here for about 30 seconds on a side, or maybe a little longer. As you are breathing into this pose, try not to sink so your chest is still open and broad. And you're just breathing. Deep inhales and deep exhales. For 4, 3, 2. On one, we're going to back out of the pose a little bit so that we can extend. Keep your foot flat. So we're not going to come up onto the heel. We're just going to extend and straighten. And then we're going to exhale, bend again. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale and straighten. Exhale and bend. Last one. Inhale and straighten. This time, exhale and bend, and we'll stay for 5 more breaths. One of the things about moving out of the pose and then coming back into it, you may find more accessibility. Breathing here for 4, 3, 2. On one, let's start to come out of it, and then we're going to rock to the heel this time. Feel free to use any props. You might have brought books with you or actual blocks. Many things work. Stay high in the pose, pull the belly in, and then start to square the shoulders over that leg. And then we're just going to start to fold in. Deep inhales and deep exhales. Breathing here. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to move into a sleeping pigeon here. If you do not enjoy sleeping pigeon, you could move onto your back and take pigeon on your back. We're doing this so that we can really get into a nice Karmasana after we get through the sequence on both sides. So to move into pigeon here, I'm going to start to walk the foot over to my left wrist and start to come forward and adjust. Maybe you're bringing the heel in closer to the body because you're tight, or because you feel you have a little more room, you're angling it more towards the parallel of the front of your mat. The heel of the back foot is facing up towards the sky. I'm going to turn around and give you another viewpoint of this pose. I flexed the right foot back towards my shin. I'm edging back, and now I look back to make sure that my heel is pointing directly up. I open my chest and start to reach forward with my chest coming down into the pose. And we'll stay about 1 minute in the pose. If you feel uncomfortable, there are a few things you can do. You can bring the heel closer into the body, or you could switch to your back. If you feel that you are falling over onto your right hip, you could always place a blanket, a towel, a small pillow under that hip to level the hips. And then just breathe. Deep inhales and deep exhales. As you are sinking into this pose, the temptation is to let the mind start to wander. Bring your thoughts back to your breath. The more that you can allow yourself to breathe quietly in the pose, the easier this will be for you. Because your mind is tied directly to your body. And the more thoughts that come in, the tighter our body becomes. The more we breathe and the more that we allow the mind to be free, our body becomes more open. And another 20 seconds here. If you've gone too deep, back away a little bit. There should be a comfortable stretch, but no pain. Breathing here for 4. 3. 2. And 1. We're going to gently step back, moving into downward facing dog. So you push your arms into the mat to lift yourself out of the pose. Deep inhales and deep exhales. Move around as much as you need to. Allow yourself to just work out. Maybe you need some hip circles. And then we'll gently come back to our all fours position in the next 2 or 3 breaths. And we'll work out everything on the other side. We'll lift the left leg up and we'll step the left foot forward, coming into our runner's lunge variation. Maybe you're moving the foot forward just a little bit so that you can ensure that you have the knee over the ankle, or maybe you're moving the back leg back a little bit to give yourself a little more space on the quadricep. And then just kind of settle in here. Pull the navel into spine. Maybe you can sit up into the pose so that you're not dumping into the lower back. If you do need to keep your hands down, that's fine. Just make sure that you're engaging the lower belly muscles. So I'll come forward here, re-engage, and then set up into the pose. And we'll stay here for 5 to 8 breaths. We'll do a little stretching, then we'll come back for 5 breaths. Breathing here for 4. 3. 2. And 1. We'll exhale out. Take a big inhale here. And then coming forward, exhale. Inhale. And exhale, pulling your navel into spine. Inhale. And exhale, we'll stay for another 5 breaths. Maybe you move deeper. Maybe you felt that that was too deep and you need to come back out. Breathing here. For 4. 3. 2. And 1. Placing our hands down. Let's come to that hamstring stretch. So flexing the toes back towards our shin, pull the navel into spine, and we'll just start to cascade over that leg. Breathing here gently. Deep inhales, deep exhales. 4, 3. And 2. And 1. We'll come back to our foot. We'll start to crawl that foot over to the side, coming into our pigeon pose. If you're doing it on the back, you'll come onto your back. And we'll start to extend the leg back behind us. And I'll move to the other side. One side could feel completely different than the other side. Sometimes tucking your toes and extending the leg back will give you a nice feel and a little more opening. I'll look back, make sure that I'm not sickling the foot, and then I can reach into the pose and begin to relax. I want myself to be level and even. I don't want to be rolling over to one side or the other. And then just breathe. As you breathe here, try to allow the breath to focus on the areas that you feel you might be tight. When we do that, we're actually sending signals from our brain to those areas, telling it to just let go, to relax. Breathing here for 4. 3. 2. On 1, the hands will come underneath the shoulders. We tuck the back toes so that we can sweep the leg up and begin to take some hip circles, taking whatever we need. And then when we have had 4 or 5 breaths of that, we're going to come down to a seated position so that we can take our Kurmasana, because we've been working strongly into our hips tonight so that we can get some very nice opening in our Kurmasana. So just when you're ready, we start to move to a position where our feet are about as wide as our mat, our knees are bent, and then we can work from there. First is to bring ourselves through our legs. Hands come in between the legs, we're bringing our chest through our legs. And then maybe you start to work with taking your hands behind the ankles. And that might feel good. For some, maybe you could reach around and touch the tops of your feet. And at that point, you can use your grip on the tops of your feet to bring yourself through the legs more. Long, straight back, You're pushing your tailbone in one direction and the crown of your head in another. And then start to settle into the pose. Maybe just sitting here is where you're at right now, and that is fine. Absolutely fine. As we move deeper into our Kurmasana, there are a lot of places to go where we can bring our arms out to the side, which is much more difficult on a carpet, I just realized. And then starting to bring ourselves forward. But don't worry about how far you're coming into your Kurmasana. Worry, does it feel good? Am I feeling a stretch across the lower back? Am I feeling elongation? How do my shoulders feel? If you have shoulders that are a little sensitive, then be mindful on how far out you're going. And as you progress in the pose, never put any direct pressure on a joint. So when you can straighten your legs at some point, they're going to be up around your shoulders. They're not going to be down on the elbows. And let's just stay here. We're going to take about 8 more deep breaths, bringing ourselves through, and then allowing your head to just fall peacefully, allowing the weight of about 10 pounds to drag you forward and down and give you a little more stretch. And take your deep breaths for about 5 more breaths here. Inhale and exhale. 4, 3. 4, 2. On 1, we start with the hands. We're going to move them out and bring them back in between the feet, and then just slowly begin to roll up, shoulders back and down. If you have a nice long pillow, grab it now, or maybe you have a blanket that you can just roll into a nice little roll, or you could even use, another type pillow underneath your shoulder blades. So I'll show you a couple different things. Let's say you have a long pillow. You're going to use it more like a bolster. If you have a small pillow, I'll show you next. We're going to just take a nice chest opener. I'm going to bring that long pillow right behind my tailbone and then lay out over my pillow, allowing my arms out to the side. Let's say you have just a standard cushion off of your sofa, not a problem. This is going to come right here so that my shoulder blades can rest on that pillow, and I can allow my arms to relax. Maybe you even come into a butterfly pose using any of your props. If you are using a towel, you could roll it up just like the longer pillow. And now start to just relax. Allow the shoulders to really come back and down. We've been working a lot with our shoulders tonight, so allow them to relax. Start to take deep inhales and deep exhales. Breathing here. And as you're still in your pose, I am going to give you a chance as we move towards Shavasana to take an inversion, which you could produce legs up the wall, and you'll be able to just take Shavasana from there. So just a couple more poses here before we head towards Shavasana. So taking another 2 breaths here. And as you finish that second breath, Just begin to roll from one side or the other, it doesn't matter. Coming to a seated pose. We'll take a nice twist here, just to wring it all out. So my legs are out in front of me. I'm sitting tall. I'll bend my right knee, place the right foot outside of the left knee, taking my left arm, wrapping it around my right leg, or taking left elbow outside, sweeping my right arm up and back, right behind the tailbone to give me some stability. And now I really check in with this foot. Toes to the sky, push down into my right foot and begin to twist. My first inhale takes me taller, and then it helps me twist. And I will continue to take inhales and exhales, twisting over my back right shoulder. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming back to center, lifting up our foot, setting it down, maybe rolling ankles, maybe even wiggling toes, scrunching them up before we come to the other side. So bending my left knee, taking left foot outside of right knee, and then checking in with those right toes. Right arm wraps left leg, left arm reach tall, hand back and behind, and then we start the twist. Each inhale allows me to be taller. Each exhale allows me to twist just a bit more. Deep inhales and deep exhales. Breathing here. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, exhale, come forward, and legs down. Stretching out. Let's take one gentle forward fold. This is another great place for these wonderful long pillows, or even the short ones. Taking an inhale here, exhale, forward fold, allowing your back to be straight and strong, but taking the stress off by using a pillow. And breathe. Just imagine that you're unrolling yourself on your legs. Your focal point is always forward and down. Deep inhales and deep exhales. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, let's just roll all the way back up. Exhale, shoulders back and down. Now, one of the things here as we start to move to our inversion, since you are at home, you have a lot of things you can do. You've got walls. If you have a chair, you could just move yourself towards the chair and then drape your legs into the seat of the chair. You could take shoulder stand if you were really wanting to do so, but if you do, come out of it in a happy baby pose, just as your counter pose. If you would like to stay in your inversion because you're in a gentle inversion, you may do so all the way through Shavasana. In about a minute's time, I'll let you know that you could move to traditional Shavasana or stay where you're at. So let's begin to move into our inversion safely. Make sure that you don't move your head side to side, and always make sure you keep that nice curve in the back of the neck, however you're taking your inversion. Settling in. And then once you get there, take a couple of inhales and open mouth exhales to just let go. Tells your body, I'm ready to relax. In about a minute, I'll let you know if you would like to take something for Shavasana other than where you are right now. Your mind may want to start to do things. Just tell it no. I am working on myself right now. So what you can do is just tell it later. I'll be back to you. when I've had my Shavasana, when I've had my final poses. If you would like to move into traditional Shavasana or your version of Shavasana, you may. If you're comfortable in your gentle inversion and feel this would make a lovely Shavasana, please do so. And in a short while, I will wake you from your slumbers. Let's begin to take deep inhales and deep exhales. Adding extra breath here, beginning to wake the lungs, wake the body. And then slowly bringing a little motion to our fingers and our toes. Just small motions, gently waking up from our Shavasana. And then maybe a little larger motion with some wrists and your ankles. And then when you're ready, we're going to sweep our arms all the way up and stretch our fingertips and extend your legs long. Stretch like a morning stretch, hugging your knees into your chest. And take a moment here. Rock side to side on that lower back, pulling your navel into spine. And then when you're ready, rocking to the right or the left side, doesn't matter which one. coming to a fetal pose before you decide to come back into the world. And then as you start to make your way to a seated pose, relaxed, shoulders back and down, eyes soft, take a moment and really be grateful that you're here practicing yoga, you're healthy, you're well, and that you have much to find gratitude and beauty for every day. All things shall pass. This too will be just a distant memory in a short while. Take the moments to be here on your mat in your home. This is a very special thing for you. And allow yourself to just take this moment. Namaste, yogis. Thank you for joining me in my home tonight, and thank you for inviting Hannah here to take part. I'm going to try to figure out how to unmute us unless Sandra is closer to the phone.